Hi, and welcome to this live chapter reading of Wordplay by Tricia Gardella, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Joe picked 3 letters from his alphabet cereal before he poured milk into the bowl. He spelled his name, J-O-E. Tomorrow, he would make more words. Today, Joe started school. Today, he would learn to read. These are your cubbies, Mrs. Ritchie told the class, and here is where we keep the rugs for napping. Then Mrs. Ritchie pointed to a red bear. Do you know what color this is? Red, everyone shouted. And this, Mrs. Ritchie's pointer touched the picture of a yellow chick. Yellow, the class answered. At recess, Joe looked around. Mrs. Ritchie had not said one word about reading. Was he in the wrong place? Joe walked to the bottom of the stairs and right off campus. After a short walk, Joe saw a building with giant words in its windows. Was this the reading place? Joe went in. He watched a lady push plastic-wrapped clothes around on a long rack. May I help you? The lady asked. Joe took a deep breath. Can you teach me to read? Honey, I have trouble finding time for what I need to find time to do. Joe shook his head. This wasn't the place. Down the sidewalk he tromped. He stopped. That had to be the place. Huge letters covered the window. Joe knew it was a grocery store. The minute he walked through the doors. But maybe. Can you teach me to read? He asked the clerk. Do you see that line? Asked the clerk. Does it look like I have time to teach you to read? I can wait. I'm busy, the clerk grumbled. Not the place. A few doors down, Joe peeked through a window. A man sat at a desk. This place looked important. This had to be the place. Can you teach me to read? Joe asked. Sorry, son, we print things to read. We don't teach it. Not the place. Joe felt a knot growing in his stomach. The reading place had to be here, somewhere. Had he missed it? From now on, he would not skip one door. Dogs and cats greeted Joe from cages lining every wall of the next door. Not the place. But the minute he walked through the next door, he knew he had found it. The right place. Finally. There were women everywhere. And they were reading under helmets. May I help you? Asked a woman with long pink fingernails. Can you teach me to read? Where's your mother? Home, Joe said. This is my first day of school, and I'm going to learn how to read. Sit right here. The lady went to the phone and dialed. She talked for a long time. Drats. This couldn't be the place either. Joe walked out the door. Little boy, where are you going? The lady called. Joe looked back. The lady was headed his way. He ran. But the lady ran faster. She caught up to Joe before he reached the corner. I thought you said you wanted to learn to read, she said. I just wanted you to know that I have some free time. My name is Bee, not B-E-E, like the insect. My name is spelled B-E-A. These are the things you find out when you learn to read, Bee explained on the way back to her shop. Bee was pointing out words in a book when Mom and Mrs. Ritchie hurried through the door. Mom gave Joe a big hug. You can't just walk away from school. I was so worried. No one would teach me how to read, Joe whispered. Reading takes time, lots and lots of time, explained Mrs. Ritchie. Did you learn how to ride your bike in one day? And how about swimming, Mom asked. You were still learning that. Joe, Mom, and Mrs. Ritchie headed back toward the school. Tomorrow, I need to take 9 letters out of my cereal, Joe told Mom. I have a new word. B-E-E-B. Mom smiled. Joe smiled back. B-E-A taught it to me.